with Dr. KS Sachdeva, Regional Director, Southeast Asia at the International Union Against Tuberculosis and Lung Diseases, or UNION. He has earlier led India's National TB Elimination Program, formerly called the RNTCP, as Deputy Director General at Central TB Division, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. And we are here at the 77th NATCON, the 77th National Conference of Tuberculosis and Chest Diseases, being held in Agra. Welcome, sir.
Thank you and good morning to everybody.
Sir, with only 45 months left to end tuberculosis in India by 2025, where are we by way of prevention, diagnosis, and treatment of TB to achieve this?
So, with respect to these three positions, prevention, diagnosis, and treatment, let me first talk about diagnosis or reaching the unreached.
Yes.
So, if you see the last annual TB report by WHO and the Central TB Division, what they have shown is that this year they have reached to around 24 lakh plus patients they could reach, as against an estimate of somewhere around 27 to 28 lakhs. And if you remember, about a decade earlier, when the prevalence was much lower, we used to say there are 10 lakh missing cases. So that gap has been narrowed to some extent. Now we talk about 3 to 4 lakh missing cases. So as far as notification and reaching the unreached and diagnosis is concerned, I think we are on the right track. We also have the right instruments or tools available with us in the form of rapid molecular diagnostics, use of X-ray as a screening tool, also using artificial intelligence and various management measures to reach the unreached. So far as treatment is concerned, those who are detected, almost 90 to 95% of them are put on treatment. The we used to initially called as initial default, where patients were diagnosed but not put on treatment, has significantly reduced. So, with the country changing to reporting of the cohort at diagnosis, that initial default is significantly reduced, and the treatment success rate are at par with the global standard, which is close to 85%. So, almost all the cohorts reach that level of treatment success rate, including from the private sector. Prevention is a new intervention which had been introduced about 2 years ago, and also an intervention where the numbers of, I'm not calling them patients, I'll call them clients. So number of clients or whatever name, say community members which need to be put on treatment is estimated to be huge, which is almost double of what the number of patients of TB which you put on treatment. So one, the task is very huge. Second, it's a new intervention, and to convince people that they take this preventive treatment when they do not have symptoms is a process which we all are learning. But having said that, uh, in the last year, around 10 lakh plus patients have been put on TB preventive therapy. So, good start, but not where we should have been. And we hope we'll be able to catch up in next 1 or 2 years and reach that scale with TB preventive therapy. So, of the three elements which you talk, I think we are good with two. The prevention piece still needs to be scaled up, picked up, and we all need a good advocacy and support from all quarters to do that.
Yes, and I think, and that is, as you have said, that is one sphere where we are lacking, but it is a very important cog in the wheel.
Yeah,
Because
it is one of the important cog in the wheel. It is expected that the contacts which we are sort of putting on preventive treatment do lead to about a significant proportion of new TB cases.
what about the shorter drug regimens to treat multi-drug resistant TB? Where are we in India, and what are the challenges we are facing to make those available to people?
So there are two things here. Number one, the treatment for multi-drug resistance from an earlier 24 to 30 months has already sort of come down to somewhere between 6 to 11 months. So that's number one. There is also a confusion between shorter regimen and a short regimen. So the shorter regimen, as commonly understood, is 9 to 11 months. Short regimen, which people are now advocating, is 6 months. So 9 to 11 months regimen uptake has been quite good. It's well entrenched in the program. The so-called short regimen, which is a 6 months BPAL regimen, has been even our organization has sort of generated evidence on scaling up on and putting patients on that BPAL regimen, but that was on a pragmatic trial basis. So we just completed enrollment of 400 patients there. Having said that, national program is in the process of introducing that regimen within their TB national TB elimination program and is planning to scale up within the national TB program. So at a technical level and at a policy level, there is an approval to go ahead. However, they still have to sort of go ahead with getting those drugs on ground and then formally rolling out that program and then scaling it up over next 1 to 2 years.
Okay, so I just wanted to clarify for myself that right now, no client, as you say, no client of for MDR-TB is being put on the old 24-month-old or regimen.
So MDR-TB is a little complex to treat. So there are so many. Uh, you have close to 10 to 13 or 15 drugs. For you to you have to see that they are sensitive to each and every drug. If there is a varying sensitivity pattern and they are sensitive to lesser number of drugs, then you have to design a regimen which suits their clinical condition the best. So some patients still need to be put on a longer regimen, and this will be the case even when you introduce a short regimen. So even if we introduce a short 6 month regimen, there will still be a percentage of patients who will need a longer regimen based upon their clinical profile. So having said that, we should not do away with the longer regimen. It has a place within the national program. But the idea is to move more and more patients to shorter and short regimens so that we can treat them more effectively and efficiently. But keep the longer regimen. Some many patients may need them. Percentage of MDR TB patients may need them, depending upon clinical profile, and we do not want any patients to suffer or any chronic morbidity or experience a loss of life just because there is no option to treat them with other drugs.
So the longer treatment, which is injectable, which has
No, it is
the
not injectable. It
okay,
is
that
longer
yes,
all oral.
okay, all oral, okay,
Yeah,
because our concern is about the after effects of kanamycin and injectable.
even when in a very limited group of
Okay.
patients, very few patients, if they need injectable and they are not sort of tolerated on oral replacement therapy, I think we should not totally junk all these drugs. They can be kept in our reservoir.
We have to see what are the
Yeah,
gains
yeah,
and what we lose. Now there are talks, there are trials going on in India for the vaccine or recombinant BCG vaccine, and we are hoping for good results. I want to ask you, Dr. Sachdeva, that the existing BCG vaccine, it is more than 100 years old, and its acceptance or its rollout was, I believe, 4% in the 1980s, and it has come to 90%. Still, we do not have 100% rollout of the existing BCG vaccine. So, where are we failing? And if the new vaccines come, then how do we ensure that the take up would be good?
So there are two issues here. One, the existing BCG vaccine is a part of universal immunization program. So it's given to all children born. So the indication is everyone at day zero. So it's a universal immunization. But the newer vaccine which we are talking about or which are being researched may be applicable to separate category of population.
Yes.
So we may not give it to the entire population. we may give it to most at risk. There may be a policy on sort of household contact. There may be a policy of re-vaccination. But last word on the newer vaccine is not yet out
Yes, yes.
on to use it on a sort of a programmatic scale. We are all awaiting the results of those trials and what the science guides us how best to use the newer vaccines.
Yes, but the
Yeah.
important question is like we also saw in the COVID vaccine case that there was so much of vaccine hesitancy for a variety of reasons. So, in case of means, how do we prepare the community earlier, or what needs to be done so that if supposing it's an approved vaccine, it comes in the market, then the uptake is good.
So the I think the lessons learned from COVID will go a long way to
Yes.
remove that vaccine hesitancy or sort of reduce that to a large extent. So an important element of rollout will be capacity building of first the providers, the health system, and then the community and the other stakeholders, and then take along other stakeholders to improve the acceptance of that vaccine in the targeted population which that particular vaccine will be targeting. So I think the lessons learned from COVID vaccination and the fact that COVID vaccination had been hugely successful will go a long way to roll out any newer vaccine or any disease for that matter.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. Last but not the least, your message for this World TB Day?
I think the app message with Stop TB partnership is saying yes, we can end
Yes.
TB. We should actually spread that word of optimism that we yes we can end TB and look, a disease which is 20,000 years, we have started talking of ending TB in just about last 4 5 years, which is a substantial proof that scientific community has enough tools in their armamentarium to deal with the disease now. They are much better prepared than they were prepared 5 years earlier, and we should actually capitalize on their strengths of the science, and also strengths of the management, science, admin, and the community engagement, and a huge advocacy and buy-in by your bureaucrats and political leadership.
Yes, you are
Yeah,
very right because
yeah,
science is doing its job.
yeah.
Now it's just to translate into public health
You
gains.
have to
That,
now translate it into a larger public good.
yes. Thank you very much,
Thank you.
friends. We were listening to Dr. Kuldeep Singh Sachdeva, who is the Regional Director, Southeast Asia Office of the International Union Against Tuberculosis and Lung Diseases. And he has done immense work as India's formerly where he was as India's national TB head of India's national TB elimination program. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. I'll quickly rush to
Thank
the
you.
other meeting.